The voicemail played again, each word cutting deeper than the last. Nathan, I miss you already. Last night was. I can't stop thinking about it. Same time next week? Jessica's voice dripped with a sweetness that made my stomach turn. Welcome back to another story. I love knowing my audience. Where are you joining us from? Comment below and become part of our storytelling journey by subscribing. Let's begin. I'm Bella, and until 3 minutes ago, I thought I had the perfect marriage. My thumb hovered over the delete button, but I couldn't do it. Evidence. That's what Emily would call it. The screen of Nathan's phone glowed accusingly in my hand. He'd forgotten it at home in his rush to make his early morning lecture. Careless. So unlike him. Professor Carter's phone, I muttered, mimicking his professional voicemail greeting. The words tasted bitter now. 7 years of marriage, and this is how I discovered the truth, through a forgotten phone and a lovesick student's message. The front door clicked. I dropped the phone onto our kitchen counter like it burned me. Bella? Have you seen my? Nathan stopped short when he saw his phone. His face flickered with something, fear? Guilt? Before settling into that familiar, warm smile. Oh, thank God. I've been looking everywhere for it. I pushed it toward him, watching his expression. Any important messages? He grabbed it quickly, too quickly. Just university stuff. Committee meetings, you know how it is. He kissed my cheek, his cologne suddenly suffocating. I'm running late. Dinner tonight? Sure. My voice sounded strange, distant. Your favorite pasta? You're the best. Another kiss, another lie. The door closed behind him, and I gripped the counter until my knuckles went white. The house felt different now, like every photo of us on the walls was mocking me. 7 years of smiles, vacations, family gatherings, all of it tainted by Jessica's voice playing on repeat in my head. My phone buzzed. Emily. Coffee? Her text read. You sound off. I hadn't even spoken to her yet, but she knew. Best friends are like that. Can't. Work stuff. I typed back, already opening my laptop. Time to do some research on Professor Carter's teaching schedule. And his promising young student, Jessica Reed. The university website loaded, and there she was, front page of the English department newsletter. Outstanding junior scholar Jessica Reed presents at national conference, accompanied by faculty mentor Nathan Carter. The photo showed them standing too close, his hand on her shoulder, both beaming at the camera. How had I missed it? The way she leaned into him, the pride in his eyes that used to be reserved for me. My phone buzzed again. Nathan. Looking forward to dinner. Love you. 7 years of marriage, and I'd never noticed how easy it was for him to lie. But now? Now I saw everything. I closed the laptop and walked to our bedroom. The closet door slid open silently as I reached for his suit jacket, the one he'd worn to last week's faculty dinner. A long blonde hair caught in the collar. Too light to be mine. My hands didn't shake as I placed it in a plastic bag. Evidence, like Emily would say. I was done being the trusting wife, the supportive partner who looked the other way. I opened my phone and created a new note, Operation Exposure. Below it, I typed my first entry, Day 1, found voicemail. Hair sample. Photo evidence from department newsletter. Nathan wanted to play professor? Fine. I'd become a researcher. And my subject? The systematic dismantling of Nathan Carter's perfectly crafted life. I picked up my phone one last time, texting Emily, rain check on coffee. But I need a favor. How good are you at tracking people without being noticed? Her response was immediate, better than you'd think. What's the target? I smiled for the first time that day. My husband. And his student. The game was on, and Nathan had no idea he'd already lost the first round. Emily's car idled across from the faculty parking lot, hidden behind a delivery truck. 3 hours of surveillance, and my coffee had gone cold twice. You know this is insane, right? Emily drummed her fingers on the steering wheel. Following your husband like some noir detective? Got a better idea? I checked my phone again. Nathan's last text claimed he had a late faculty meeting. The university website showed no such meeting scheduled. Actually confront him? With what proof? A voicemail I shouldn't have heard and a blonde hair? The bitterness in my voice surprised even me. He'll just lie again. I need something concrete. Movement caught my eye. Nathan emerged from the English building, but he wasn't alone. Jessica walked beside him, laughing at something he'd said. My stomach clenched as I watched him touch her elbow, guiding her toward his car. That's her? Emily's voice hardened. She looks like a child. She's 22. The words tasted like ash. Old enough to know better. They got into Nathan's car, and Emily started the engine. You sure you want to see where this goes? I nodded, my throat too tight for words. The drive took 15 minutes, ending at the Grand Hotel downtown. Not even creative enough to pick somewhere discreet. I watched them disappear through the revolving doors. Nathan's hand on the small of Jessica's back, the same gesture he'd used with me countless times. Want me to go in? Emily offered. I could pretend to be looking for the restaurant. No. I pulled out my phone and started recording. The timestamp matters. Evidence. We sat in silence for 2 hours. I documented every detail, the hotel name, the time, the way Nathan checked both directions before leading Jessica out. The way she fixed her lipstick in her compact mirror before they parted ways. That night, Nathan came home smelling of hotel soap and lies. How was the faculty meeting? I asked, stirring the pasta I hadn't touched. Productive. He loosened his tie. Though Dr. Stevens droned on forever about curriculum changes. Really? That must have been fascinating. I set down my spoon. Especially since Dr. Stevens is in Barcelona this week. For the linguistics conference. Nathan's pause was microscopic, but I caught it. Did I say Stevens? I meant Richardson. Right. I pushed away from the counter. I'm not hungry. There's leftovers in the fridge. Bella, wait. He caught my arm. What's wrong? You've been distant lately. The concern in his voice made me want to scream. Instead, I smiled. Just tired. I have a lot of content to film tomorrow. His relief was palpable. You work too hard on that beauty channel stuff. Someone has to pay for our lifestyle. The dig was subtle, but his jaw tightened. My successful blog had always been a sore spot. His associate professor salary couldn't match my influencer income. I'm up for tenure next year, he reminded me. Things will be different then. I thought of Jessica's designer handbag, definitely beyond a student's budget. I'm sure they will be. Later, I added to my evidence file, photos from the hotel, timestamps, Nathan's lies about the meeting. Emily had managed to get the hotel's security footage through a contact, grainy but clear enough to show them entering and leaving. My phone buzzed with a text from Diane, Nathan's mother. Lunch tomorrow? Missing my favorite daughter-in-law. Perfect timing. Nathan's parents needed to know who their son really was. But first, they needed to see the facade crack on their own. I texted back, love to. The usual place at 1? Then I opened my laptop and began typing an anonymous email to the university ethics board. Subject line, concerning relationship between Professor Carter and student Jessica Reed. Not sent. Not yet. But soon. Nathan's soft snores drifted from our bedroom. Once, that sound had meant safety, comfort, home. Now it was just the soundtrack to my revenge planning. I added one final note to my file. Day 4, hotel meeting documented. Lies about faculty meeting confirmed. Mother-in-law lunch scheduled. The pieces were falling into place. Nathan thought he was so clever, juggling his two worlds. He had no idea his perfect life was about to implode, and I would be there to watch it burn. Lunch with Diane started normally enough. She ordered her usual salad, fussed over my looking too thin, and showed me pictures of her garden. Then she pulled out a small velvet box. Nathan asked me to give you this early. For your anniversary next week. She beamed, sliding it across the table. He said he's too busy with some big presentation to shop himself. The box felt heavy in my hands. Inside, a delicate silver necklace caught the light, identical to one I'd seen in a receipt addressed to Jessica. It's beautiful, I managed, my fingers trembling. Did he pick it himself? Oh no, he had his teaching assistant help. That lovely girl, Jessica? She has excellent taste. The salad turned to ash in my mouth. Jessica helped. She's such a sweet girl. Always staying late to help Nathan with his research. Diane sipped her water. Though between us, I worry she might have a crush on him. You know how young girls can be with their professors. I forced a laugh. Nathan would never. Of course not. He adores you. Diane reached for my hand. Though. Is everything okay? You seem different lately. Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. A text from Emily. Check your email now. Excusing myself to the bathroom, I opened my inbox. Emily had forwarded a message from the university's events committee. A formal dinner next week, honoring promising junior scholars. Jessica Reed was receiving an award. Nathan would be presenting it. My hands shook as I typed, the necklace. It's for her presentation. Emily's response was immediate, time to end this. Back at the table, Diane was talking about Robert's golf scores. I interrupted her mid-sentence. Did Nathan tell you about the awards dinner? What dinner? Next week. He's presenting an award to his star student. I kept my voice steady. You and Robert should come. Support the department. Oh. We'd love to. She pulled out her phone to mark the date. Robert's been wanting to see Nathan in his element. Perfect. That evening, I waited in Nathan's study, the necklace box open on his desk. When he came home, I heard him call out, then his footsteps approaching. Bella? What are you doing in here? I held up the necklace. Beautiful choice. Jessica has excellent taste. His face went blank. Professional mode activated. What are you talking about? Diane gave me my anniversary gift early. I stood, letting the necklace dangle. Funny thing, I found the receipt for an identical one. Addressed to Jessica Reed. It's not what you think. The Grand Hotel wasn't what I thought either? Or the late-night meetings? My voice stayed eerily calm. Tell me, Nathan, does the university know you're sleeping with a student you're about to give an award to? He paled. Keep your voice down. Why? Afraid the neighbors might hear what kind of man you really are. This is ridiculous. He reached for the necklace. I pulled it back. Touch me and I send every piece of evidence I have to the ethics board. The hotel footage, the receipts, the timestamps of your meetings, all of it. You're bluffing. I pulled out my phone, showing him the folder. His eyes widened at the thoroughness of my documentation. What do you want? Next week, at the awards dinner, you're going to tell everyone exactly what you did. Your parents, your colleagues, everyone. He laughed, but it was hollow. You're insane. I'll lose everything. Funny. That's exactly how I felt when I heard her voicemail. I moved toward the door. Oh, and Nathan? I invited your parents to the dinner. They're so excited to see you in your element. Bella, wait. 1 week. I turned back, meeting his eyes. Either you tell them, or I will. And trust me, my version will be much worse. Later that night, I heard him making phone calls in his study. Probably trying to damage control. Let him try. The evidence was backed up in multiple places, and Emily had copies of everything. I added to my notes, day 8, necklace confirmed. Parents invited to dinner. Ultimatum delivered. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number, we need to talk. Jessica. I smiled, adding another note, the mouse enters the trap. The game was changing. Nathan thought he was the clever professor, the master manipulator. But he'd forgotten the first rule of academia, always check your sources. And I had receipts for everything. The campus coffee shop buzzed with mid-morning activity when Jessica slid into the seat across from me. She wore the necklace, my necklace, like a declaration of war. Nathan said you're threatening him. Her voice wavered slightly, betraying her confident posture. Interesting. Is that what we're calling the truth these days? She fiddled with the silver pendant. It's not what you think. We have a connection. Save it. I pulled out my phone, scrolling through photos. Grand Hotel, 3 times last week. Private meetings in his office after hours. That necklace. I looked up. Want me to continue? You don't understand. Nathan says he's leaving you after the awards dinner. We're going to. My laugh cut her off. Several students turned to look. Is that what he told you? Like he told his last teaching assistant the same thing 2 years ago? Her face went slack. What? I slid my phone across the table. On screen was an email from Sarah Mitchell, Nathan's previous TA. Her story matched Jessica's beat for beat, the late-night meetings, the promises, the gifts. The eventual dismissal when she became too clingy. He has a type, I said softly. Young, ambitious, desperate for validation. Did he tell you how special you are? How you understand him in ways his wife never could? Tears welled in her eyes. This isn't, he wouldn't. Check his desk drawer. Left side, back corner. There's a birthday card there. From Sarah. I stood, gathering my things. He keeps trophies. Wait. Jessica grabbed my wrist. What are you going to do? Nothing. I smiled. You are. That evening, Nathan came home late, reeking of whiskey. What did you say to her? To who? I continued editing my latest beauty video, not looking up. Jessica's withdrawing from the program. Refusing the award. He swayed slightly. What did you do? I showed her the truth. Unlike you. You vindictive bitch. He grabbed my laptop, slamming it shut. You're ruining everything. No, Nathan. You did that yourself. I stood, facing him. By the way, Sarah says hello. The color drained from his face. Sarah? She was very helpful. Apparently, you're not very creative with your lies. I moved toward the door. Oh, and you might want to check your university email. Jessica copied the ethics board on her withdrawal letter. Something about inappropriate relationships and abuse of power. His phone started buzzing. The dean's office. Bella, wait. We can fix this. Like you fixed things with Sarah? I paused at the doorway. The awards dinner's still on. Your parents are so excited to attend. Shame about the guest of honor dropping out. Later that night, Emily called. Jessica's story is all over the graduate student forums. 3 more TAs from different departments have come forward. I added to my notes, day 12, Jessica breaks. Pattern exposed. Dominoes falling. My phone lit up with a text from Robert, Nathan's father, need to talk. Breakfast tomorrow? Then another from Diane, just heard from the dean's wife. Please tell me it's not true. The final text was from Nathan, you've destroyed everything. I typed back, no. I just showed everyone who you really are. Upstairs, I heard him packing a bag. The guest room door slammed. Let him hide. The truth was already spreading, faster than he could contain it. I opened my laptop again, staring at the draft email to the university board. Attached were statements from Sarah, Jessica, and the other TAs. 7 years of predatory behavior, documented and dated. My finger hovered over the send button. One click and Nathan's career would be over. His reputation shattered. Everything he'd built, destroyed. But that would be too easy. Too quick. Instead, I typed, Day 13 agenda, breakfast with Robert. Let him discover his son's true nature. Watch the family facade crumble from within. The awards dinner was still days away. Nathan thought the worst was over, that damage control was possible. He had no idea this was just the beginning. Robert Carter's face was granite as he studied the documents spread across his breakfast table. Each page detailed another of Nathan's indiscretions, meticulously dated and annotated. 7 years. His voice cracked. 7 years of this. I poured more coffee, letting silence do the work. Robert had always respected precision, evidence, facts. Now those same qualities were destroying his image of his perfect son. Does Diane know? Not everything. I touched Sarah's statement. Just what she's heard from the dean's wife. He picked up Jessica's withdrawal letter, his hands trembling slightly. Nathan says you're trying to destroy him. That you're jealous of his success. And what do you think? I think, he stopped as Diane entered, her face pale. The dean's wife called again. She clutched her phone. 3 more girls have come forward. Robert, what's happening to our son? I stood to leave, but Robert's voice stopped me. Stay, Bella. We need to understand everything. The next hour was surgical. I laid out each piece of evidence, watching their faces crumple as their son's true nature emerged. The pattern. The manipulation. The calculated destruction of young women's careers. The awards dinner, Diane whispered. Everyone will know. Everyone already knows. I showed them the graduate student forums. Nathan's reputation was built on lies. Now it's built on truth. Robert's phone buzzed. Nathan. He rejected the call. What do you need from us? He asked instead. Before I could answer, the front door slammed. Nathan stood in the doorway, wild-eyed. What are you doing here? He glared at me. Poisoning them too? Nathan. Robert's voice could have frozen hell. Sit down. Dad, whatever she's told you. Sarah Mitchell. Robert held up her statement. Jessica Reed. Amanda Torres. Should I continue? Nathan's mask slipped. They were nothing. Mistakes. Mistakes? Diane's voice shook. You destroyed their careers. Their lives. They knew what they were doing. Nathan turned to me. Just like she knows what she's doing now. Playing victim while she systematically ruins everything I've built. I stayed silent, watching his parents' faces as their last illusions shattered. The awards dinner is cancelled, Robert announced. And you'll resign your position. What? Dad, you can't. Or I show the board everything. Robert tapped the files. Your choice, son. Nathan lunged for the documents. I moved faster, shielding them with my body. His hand caught my arm, fingers digging in. The sound of Robert's chair scraping back froze us all. Take your hands off her. Robert's voice was deadly quiet. Now. Nathan released me, stepping back. You're choosing her over your own son? No. Robert gathered the documents carefully. I'm choosing truth over lies. Integrity over corruption. Everything I thought I taught you. Mom? Nathan turned to Diane, but she was already walking away, shoulders shaking. I added one final note to my evidence file. Day 15, parents confronted. Alliance secured. The dinner's in 2 days, I reminded them. Nathan's right about one thing, everyone will be watching. Let them watch. Robert's eyes met mine. It's time for truth. Later, Emily called to check in. How did it go? I watched Nathan's car peel out of his parents' driveway, his world collapsing behind him. Better than expected. Worse than hoped. And you? Are you okay? I touched my arm where Nathan had grabbed me, already bruising. Another piece of evidence. Another nail in his coffin. I'm fine. I opened my laptop, adding the morning's events to my documentation. Just ready for this to end. But as I typed, I wondered, was I? The revenge felt hollow now, watching good people suffer for Nathan's sins. Robert's broken voice. Diane's tears. The collateral damage was spreading. My phone buzzed with a text from Jessica, we need to talk. Again. It's important. I stared at the message, feeling the weight of decisions yet to come. The truth was a weapon, but weapons had a way of hurting more than their intended targets. The question was, how many casualties was I willing to accept in my quest for justice? Jessica's hands shook as she pushed the manila envelope across the cafe table. He asked me to give you this. Inside was a USB drive and a single sheet of paper. Divorce papers. He says if you don't sign, he'll release the videos. My coffee turned to acid in my stomach. What videos? Jessica wouldn't meet my eyes. From our meetings. He said it was for protection. In case anyone questioned our relationship. The world tilted sideways. Of course he'd recorded them. Evidence. Protection. Control. He has videos of all of us, Jessica whispered. Sarah, Amanda, me. He says he'll release them if you don't back down. Call off tomorrow's dinner. Sign the papers. My phone buzzed, Emily. I ignored it. Did you watch them? Jessica shook her head. Just ours. He made me watch to prove he had them. Her voice cracked. I didn't know he was recording. I didn't. Stop. I stood abruptly, my chair scraping against the floor. I need air. Outside, the campus buzzed with normal activity. Students laughing. Professors lecturing. Life continuing while mine imploded. Emily called again. This time I answered. The ethics board got an anonymous email, she said without preamble. Videos. They're reviewing them now. My legs gave out. I sank onto a bench. He actually did it. Bella, listen. The videos don't show what he thinks they show. They show coercion. Manipulation. The board's lawyers are already involved. But I barely heard her. All I could think about were those girls. Their careers. Their lives. Their dignity stripped away because I pushed too hard. My phone chimed with a text from Nathan, check your email. Then decide if your revenge is worth it. The email contained a single video clip. Me, drunk at last year's faculty Christmas party, kissing a colleague. The caption read, "Wonder what the beauty industry would think of their perfect influencer now?" I'd forgotten that night. The fight with Nathan. The comfort Mark had offered. The kiss I'd immediately regretted. Another text, I have more. Sign the papers. End this. My hands wouldn't stop shaking as I called Robert. He's blackmailing everyone, I managed. Videos. Photos. He's going to destroy them all. No. Robert's voice was steel. He's going to try. I can't let those girls. Those girls are filing charges, Robert cut in. The board's lawyers contacted them. They're fighting back. But their careers will survive. Truth survives, Bella. Lies don't. But whose truth? Nathan's carefully curated evidence? My calculated revenge? We were all liars in our own ways. My phone buzzed again. Jessica, I'm going to the police. I can't let him do this to anyone else. Then Sarah, just got called by the board. I'm testifying tomorrow. Amanda, we're all coming forward. Together. Each message felt like a weight lifting, but also like chains tightening. I'd started this. Their pain, their exposure, it was all because of my need for revenge. Emily appeared beside me, coffee in hand. You look like hell. He's going to destroy everyone. No. She sat down. He's going to try. And fail. Because you have something he doesn't. What's that? Us. She pulled out her laptop. While you were having your crisis, I've been busy. Check your inbox. The email contained dozens of statements. Faculty members, students, staff, all witnessing Nathan's behavior over the years. All ready to testify. The dinner tomorrow? Emily smiled grimly. It's still on. But the guest list has grown. My phone lit up one last time. Nathan, last chance. Sign or everyone burns. I thought of Jessica's trembling hands. Sarah's broken career. Amanda's lost confidence. All the others we didn't know about yet. I typed back, you're right. Everyone will burn. Starting with you. Then I opened my evidence file and added one final note. Day 16, the truth costs everything. Pay it anyway. Tomorrow would either be my vindication or my destruction. But at least it would be real. And reality, unlike Nathan's carefully constructed lies, had a way of surviving. The university banquet hall hummed with tension. Every seat filled, faculty, students, board members, all waiting for Nathan's keynote speech. He stood at the podium, shuffling papers, oblivious to the storm about to break. I sat between Robert and Diane, my evidence file open on my tablet. Emily positioned herself near the exit, coordinating with the others via text. Sarah, Amanda, Jessica. All present, all ready. Nathan cleared his throat. Tonight, we celebrate excellence. Actually, I stood, my voice carrying across the suddenly silent room. Tonight we're celebrating truth. His eyes found mine, warning flashing across his face. Bella, this isn't the time. When is the time, Nathan? After you destroy more careers? Manipulate more students? Murmurs rippled through the crowd. I saw phones being pulled out, recording. My wife is clearly emotional. Nathan attempted a laugh. Perhaps we should. Play the videos? I stepped into the center aisle. The ones you used to blackmail your victims? Too late. The board already has them. Color drained from his face. You're lying. Like you lied to Sarah? I turned to the audience. Or Amanda. Or Jessica. Movement at the back of the room. Sarah stood, then Amanda. Finally, Jessica. Each wearing the necklace he'd given them, identical silver chains marking them as his victims. This is ridiculous, Nathan sputtered. These women are. Are what? Robert's voice boomed as he stood. Tell us, son. What exactly are these women? Nathan's mask slipped. Dad, you don't understand. We understand perfectly. Diane rose, tears streaming. Every lie. Every manipulation. Every life you've damaged. The dean stepped forward, flanked by university lawyers. Professor Carter, in light of recent evidence. Evidence? Nathan laughed, but it was hollow. You mean my wife's desperate attempts to? To what? I pulled up his emails on the projector screen. To expose how you promised Jessica tenure-track positions? How you threatened Sarah's fellowship? How you... Shut up! He lunged for the podium's laptop, but security was faster. The room erupted. Phones recorded everything. Nathan's carefully constructed world crumbling in real time. You think you've won? He turned to me, voice low and dangerous. I still have the Christmas party video. Your precious followers already know. I held up my phone, showing my latest blog post. I told them everything this morning. The kiss. The manipulation. All of it. Truth survives, Nathan. Lies don't. His face contorted. For a moment, I thought he might strike me. Instead, he laughed, a broken, desperate sound. You've destroyed everything. No. Jessica stepped forward, her voice steady. You did that yourself. We're just refusing to be silent anymore. One by one, women throughout the audience stood. Not just Sarah, Amanda, and Jessica. Others. So many others. The dean's voice cut through the chaos. Professor Carter, please surrender your university credentials to security. The board will contact your lawyer regarding. But Nathan was already moving, shoving past guards toward the exit. He paused at the door, looking back at the wreckage of his life. I loved you once, he said to me. No. I met his eyes one last time. You loved what I represented. Status. Success. The perfect wife for your perfect lie. But the lie's over, Nathan. We're all done pretending. Security escorted him out. The room buzzed with voices, phones, reporters already gathering outside. But all I felt was empty. Emily appeared at my side, squeezing my hand. You okay? I don't know. I watched Diane crying in Robert's arms, the students huddled around Jessica, the lawyers conferring with the dean. Was it worth it? All this damage? Look again, Emily nodded toward the women still standing. That's not damage. That's healing. That's strength. My phone buzzed with messages. Support from followers. Thank you notes from students. Even a message from Sarah, we're free. I added one final note to my evidence file. Day 17, the truth costs everything, but silence costs more. Then I closed the file. The evidence was gathered. The truth exposed. Now came the hard part, learning to live in a world where justice and healing mattered more than revenge. The signed divorce papers sat on my desk like a full stop at the end of a long sentence. Final. Permanent. Done. Emily sprawled on my couch, scrolling through news articles. Another university launched an investigation into faculty-student relationships. You started something bigger than Nathan. That wasn't the goal. I closed my laptop, shutting down the support group forum I'd created for Nathan's victims. 37 members now, from 3 different universities. Sometimes the best revenge isn't what you planned. She tossed me her phone. Check your emails. The message was from Jessica, speaking at a conference next week. Topic: Power Dynamics in Academia. Thank you for showing me what strength looks like. My throat tightened. She's going to be okay. They all are. Emily sat up. Sarah got that fellowship in London. Amanda's starting her PhD. You gave them their lives back. Nathan gave them ammunition. I just showed them how to use it. The doorbell rang. Robert and Diane stood outside, carrying boxes. Last of your things from the house, Robert said, setting them down. And something else you should see. Diane handed me an envelope. Inside was a letter from Nathan, postmarked from another state. He sent it to us, she explained. Said he couldn't face sending it to you directly. I almost threw it away. Almost. Dear Bella, it began. You were right about everything except one thing. I did love you. That's what made it so easy to lie to you. Because you loved purely, completely, without question. I couldn't bear to be the man you deserved, so I became the man I thought I needed to be. The lies weren't just for them, they were for me. To convince myself I was worthy of what you gave so freely. The letter crumpled in my fist. "He's in therapy," Diane said softly. "Not that it excuses anything." "No," I agreed. "It doesn't." Robert cleared his throat. "We wanted you to know, we still consider you family. Whatever happens next." "Thank you." I hugged them both, surprised by how much I meant it. But I think I need to be just Bella for a while. After they left, Emily helped me unpack the boxes. Photos. Books. 7 years of memories sorted into keep, donate, destroy. My phone buzzed with a notification. A comment on my latest blog post about surviving betrayal. "You saved my life. I left my abusive partner after reading your story. Thank you for showing me that the truth sets us free, even when it hurts." "That's 53, Emily noted. 53 people who've left toxic relationships because of you." "Because of their own strength," I corrected. "I just showed them what was possible." We ordered takeout, sitting among the boxes of my old life. Emily raised her wine glass. "To new beginnings?" I stared at my reflection in the dark window. The woman looking back wasn't the same one who'd found that voicemail 17 days ago. She was stronger. Scarred. Real. "To truth," I countered. "Even when it costs everything." "Speaking of truth." Emily hesitated. "The dean called. They're implementing new policies. Required training. Anonymous reporting systems. They want you to consult." I thought of Jessica speaking at her conference. Sarah pursuing her dreams. Amanda reclaiming her power. 37 women finding their voices. Tell them yes, I decided. But not just for their university. Emily smiled. "Planning something bigger?" "Truth shouldn't be contained to one campus. One story. One moment." I pulled out my laptop. "It's time to go national." As I typed the first words of my proposal for a nationwide academic reform initiative, my phone lit up with another comment. "Your story gave me courage. When do we start fighting back?" I smiled, thinking of Nathan's letter. He was right about one thing: I did love purely, completely. But now that love was directed at something bigger than him. Something true. "We already have," I typed back. "And we're just getting started." The truth had cost everything. But the lies? They had cost so much more. And somewhere in that equation, I'd found not just revenge, but revolution.